This episode may contain strong language, sensitive topics, and sexual references, so younger viewers, please be advised. This is the first episode of the Yap-shap podcast by myself and
Edith Berryman.
And yeah, this is something new. Nothing I've done before.
Nothing I've ever done before. I've never been on a podcast.
And yeah, so, cut us some slack on that one.
But, we've got some experience. We're both journalism students. But we're also very different as well.
Yeah.
So that's great.
So without further ado, I think we'll kick off with the intro. Well, Edith, we both picked that intro. What do you think to it?
I think it's amazing.
But yeah, I think just before we crack on, Edith, introduce yourself. Tell us, who are you?
I am a student journalist. I am at the University of Salford in my first year, and I make TikTok content as well, so I'm a content creator. And you can follow me on Edith Berryman Journalism. And yeah, I basically do quite a similar thing to Ammaar, and we actually met on LinkedIn.
She does it better than me.
No.
But she won't say that part out loud.
No.
But yeah, just for the newer audiences, I'm Ammaar Hussain. I'm also a student journalist, but I'm here at Leeds Trinity University. And yes, I connected with Edith on LinkedIn. She connected with me, and then I had a look at some of her stuff, and I was like, damn, so I've got competition now for once. So yeah, we had a few conversations, and that is when the Yap-shap podcast was formed. And yeah, this is episode 1. Today we will be talking about the manosphere. Because what a topic to kick us off, what a topic to kind of get us going.
It's not very current news, but it is semi-current, so...
Yeah, and if there are any messes with the camera, just bear with me because I'm doing the camera work.
Ammaar is doing it all.
Yeah, I'm doing the
Ammaar
camera
is doing
work.
it all.
I'm doing the camera work. I've got the mics. And yeah, so if there is any screw-ups there, please cut me a little bit of slack. But Edith, just to crack on, let's get the ball rolling. What is the manosphere?
What is the manosphere? It's a good question. People think they know what it means just by seeing these clips of Andrew Tate, and they think all his supporters are part of the manosphere, but it's actually quite a broad thing. So it's basically like websites, podcasts, social media influencers, all their content, web forums like blogs.
And I think Theroux described those influencers that you were talking about. You described them as ultra masculine in his documentary.
Ultra masculine.
Yeah, and I've just said ultra masculine influencers. Just to kick off of that, why I was mentioning that a couple of months ago. Obviously, Theroux, he released a new documentary. A new documentary is 2 months old now, called The Manosphere, where he kind of did a deep dive into the manosphere and what sort of influences are behind it, who sort of leads that sort of pyramid, and what sort of ideas are they pushing towards audiences which are predominantly younger audiences. So yeah, he described them in the simple terms as ultra masculine influences, and I think that is the simplest way you can put it.
And they all kind of have this idea of masculinity, dating, men's problems, and gender politics all in their content. They all kind of cover the same things, but they all do branch off into these subcategories as well.
Actually, before you jump into the subcategories, just tell us, where did it all start from?
Where did it all start? That is a very, very good question, because people think it just suddenly started on TikTok with Andrew Tate, and that is actually not the reason it all grew. So we have to go all the way back to pretty much like 1960s, the second wave of feminism.
Blooming heck,
it's a long way back, and people don't think it goes that way back, but that's when these ideas started forming. So when the second wave of feminism came, women started to get more rights, so they started to get equal pay. They didn't have to have as many children or stay at home with the children. Contraception laws were kind of not contraception laws were abolished, so they could have contraception. And there was like fair treatment to work. So a lot of women, as they should, exactly. Thank you. And so all of these women started to get jobs. Some better jobs than men. But at the same time, we have to realise that also the economy, we'll focus on England, after the industrial...
1960s, yeah. So we're talking after, during the... This is post World War II.
Mm-hmm. Post World War II, the Industrial Revolution started to slow down. We moved manufacturing abroad. It was cheaper, and our economy started to decline, and it is still declining from that to this day with the financial crisis. Yeah. Obviously, but
we're talking the financial crisis of 2008.
2008, yes. Yeah, the big one. But also with all of that, jobs.
Hey, listen, we were only babies at that time.
We were only babies. My sister was born in 2008, actually.
I have a cousin. that was born in 2008.
Yeah, it's crazy that it happened then. My parents must have been so stressed. But
it wasn't my problem, so don't see me complaining about it.
But yeah, when the crash happened as well, so women got more rights, and then the crash happened, and then manufacturing jobs were less, which men filled, pretty much predominantly. So when you've got like physical labour dropping, you've got women's rights increasing, you've got this gap. Where do men fit in?
But is this a synthetically made gap, or is this a gap that was there? Because you got to understand, these rights that women were fighting for
should have been there in the first place.
Yes, and it was based on equality. And they weren't trying to be superior to men. They were fighting to get the same rights that men always had. Yeah. So this gap that you're talking about, was it actually there, do you think, or was it just synthetically created?
Synthetically created. And it was just created from sexism, thinking men are all big and strong and they can do this and they can do that, they can do everything, and but we can't have kids, can we? They can do that.
Are there any particular ideas from the manosphere, or I mean, firstly, do you want to jump into some of the subgroups, because I think we had a conversation about this.
The subgroups are crazy. Subgroups are crazy. There's so many. Yeah. And that's massive. There's men's...
Because when we were having a discussion about this before the camera started rolling, you were talking to me about the subgroups, and I remember saying to you, like, some of the subgroups that you were mentioning, which I'm going to let you mention them before I say what I'm going to say. It didn't seem like they fitted in the manosphere. I felt like I fitted in some of those, but not for the same reason. So, I mean, firstly, tell everybody what are some of these subgroups?
I mean, you've got your men's rights activists talking about child custody, divorce, male suicide rates. They focus on social issues as well. Then you've got the pickup artists, which you see a lot of on, Twitch streams or TikTok. Like teach dating and flirting techniques. I know.
Myron Gaines, Fresh and Fit podcast, and your, what is it? Well, you got the first name that popped up in my head was HS Tiki Toki.
HS Tiki Toki. Ed Matthews.
Yeah.
the scripted methods.
Some of their clips. I've done stuff with the Leather Boys pod. I think I'll try to pop a clip in. It literally, I was watching one of the clips. I don't know if I can play it. Let me play the clip.
I'm meeting a bird. I've just been, Jim.
What bird you meeting?
You don't know her, G. Just something I pulled on live.
She's Lang.
Yeah, she's nice. She's black. My first black.
I swear.
Girl. Yeah, she's fit. You'd find her fit though. She's like, them black things that look white.
Why did you moan? What do the comments say?
The thing is, this is probably one of the more older clips.
Yeah, I've seen that quite a few times.
It's like, I could show you a clip from the Leather Boys pod. I'll show you a clip from the Leather Boys pod, and tell me that this is not the same thing.
Have you guys seen Louis Theroux? He's this like alpha male guy. Like, he's got a podcast like ours.
He's got a podcast.
I think I'm more of an alpha.
I think I'm more of a sigma, but that's just me.
What's an alpha?
Him.
Describe an alpha.
You're looking at one.
But that's satire.
Yeah, yes, exactly. That's satire, and that's the thing that I love. It's like, that's satire. They were dead serious.
Yeah, there's a difference.
And these people represent the manosphere. These are like at the top of the chain. You saw how HS Tiki Toki was on that in that documentary.
Yeah. I mean, they're more than pickup artists. They've got red pill community believers, like dating is based on biology. Women prefer powerful or high status men. And then you've got incels and black pill, which is you involuntarily celibate. And these men feel angry or hopeless about dating. So it's very, very different. And a lot of influencers like HS would cross over multiple, subcategories. I'm getting very literal here. But
no, but you're completely right. And again, this is another thing which I know I'm meant to wait until we start talking about the actual documentary to start talking about it. But it's these kind of this idea of men being born with no value, women being born with inherent value. Women have already got the looks and they already look beautiful, and that's already there from the get go. As a man, you're born with nothing. Firstly, it's utter rubbish. It's bullshit. You have so much to offer as a man, as you do a woman. These rights that women fought for post 1960s was for that equality, not for any superiority. This is just like kind of an inferiority complex. It kind of seems like attention seeking behavior in my opinion.
And then you were talking about the self-improvement bit.
Yes.
And that was the self-improvement and alpha male culture. And you may have gym influencers that you follow and they may not be in the manosphere just because they're posting like self-improvement content, like financial content, to make yourself a better man. It only becomes part of the manosphere, I think, when you base your value on sexual marketplace value thinking.
That's where I was a little bit confused, and that's where I had that conversation with you. I was saying to you, listen, this self-improvement content, self-healing content where I'm looking after my body, meditating, that kind of thing. I watch that kind of stuff, nature stuff.
For yourself.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
that's the difference. I'm guessing that's what you're saying. The difference is this is just for these guys. It's kind of about trying to show off yourself or try to make yourself look a certain way in terms of I want these women to see me as superior or dominating or alpha. Which shout out to the Leather Boys pod, by the way. If I should be able to get the clip up. If they try to copyright me, then I know where they live. But but yeah, shout out to them. Give them a follow on Instagram. Had lots of fun with them. But
all these subcategories, they all found each other. Basically when social media came, because before it was just an internalized kind of thing maybe you talked about with your mates. You weren't really in the public with it, and then social media came. So in the early 2000s they all started finding each other with similar issues on blogs and forums like Reddit. And these forums just kept growing and growing in popularity. But I want to talk about the young boys as well, because
just before you do talk about those, it's actually I did write about this a little bit as well. It seems like the influencers, they're monetizing this idea of male loneliness, insecurity, desire for status and purpose. So these are things that Louis Theroux found in his documentary as well, that desire for status, purpose, products and courses marketed heavily towards teenage boys, which you were going to get into, which kind of suggests that these boys and other grown men, because I've seen that as well, grown men, almost, I was going to use the term creaming, but I think we'll just go with glazing. The glazed, they keep glazing these, these boys. But yeah, that's kind of what I'm getting, that they're selling masculinity as. That's what I'm seeing.
Yeah, all men will feel these issues. Most men in the manosphere will feel these issues, but the young boys are being specifically targeted through when TikTok came about. TikTok and YouTube, short form content that was easy to understand, very rage baity. So the way the TikTok algorithm works is it will promote videos that get engagement. They don't see difference between negative and positive. So
Andrew Tate.
Yeah, massive one for young boys. And young boys need a role model. But before they had social media, young boys' role model could be their dad, it could be their coach, sports coach, it could be a teacher at their school. But now you can surf through the internet as a 11 to 14-year-old boy on your phone and you could do a 12-hour binge on Andrew Tate and he could be your new role model and no one would know. The parents can't see. All you do is close a tab. And I've got a poll that I actually want to bring up as well, which is crazy.
I thought we were going to jump into the next topic, but yeah, please. This poll, I've been excited to hear. I've been hearing about it for a while now.
73% of boys aged 11 to 14 had seen harmful or misogynistic content online, often within 18 minutes of using social media. And that's a poll from Vodafone.
74%. 73%.
That within 18 minutes. And what's their screen times? Because mine's... Actually, I'm actually not going to say.
If you say yours, I'll say mine. Let
me look?
I thought I was bad. Okay, because it's Tuesday, my average is quite high. Should we do last week's average or one from about 4 weeks ago?
Last week's. Yeah, should we do last week's?
Yeah, last week's. Go on. You want to go first or shall I go first?
I'll go first.
Go on.
16 hours and 19 minutes.
Mine was 10 hours and 25.
Oh my gosh. I actually thought yours was going to...
Well, mine was going to beat yours. The question is, though, what was your most used?
My most used?
Your most used.
Snapchat, but that's because I fall asleep on the phone with my
How long were you spending on Snapchat?
It said 8 hours and 30 minutes. That's a full night's sleep.
One second. Did you just say it's Snapchat because you sleep on the phone?
Yeah, with my fiance.
Oh. Mine is TikTok, 22 hours.
That's my next one, so. But
I was going to say because my Snapchat's 3 hours, and that's for the week, I'm guessing. I don't use Snapchat.
But 11 to 14, I mean, this is doing damage to my brain, and imagine what it's doing to them. They have these as role models now, and that is terrifying. They don't even understand this economic situation that's going on because they're kids. No. So they're literally just role models to them. But yeah, what do you want to talk about next?
The documentary. I think it's.
I feel this is a very, very good topic for us to cover.
Yeah, 100%.
Do you want to start with your thoughts?
I liked it, and I know you don't feel the same way.
No.
But
yeah.
Yeah, we had that conversation. Again, this is going to be funny. I think we are going to let out clips from yesterday's episode.
Oh my gosh!
Because we had a lot of fun. There were quite a few arguments, but yesterday's episode was a bit more power packed. To say
chaotic.
The least. It was chaotic.
Oh my god!
Our poor technician had to come in and tell us we were out of time. It was that much chaos. But to carry on straight off that, I like the documentary. I think he did a good job. I understand that people have seen a lot of what he was trying to show in the documentary, and that they maybe should have gone a little bit deeper into it. But to me, it felt like for his target audience, which is older people, we're talking middle-aged and on, it worked. Now I know you disagree with that, so I'm gonna let you talk.
I'm gonna hand it over. I think I like Louis Theroux. I think he has a great interview technique with people who aren't massive rage baiters and also incredibly media trained. Yeah. I don't think they can talk themselves into a hole. It's not possible. They've said every bad thing that you could ever possibly imagine online and they still profit from it. So he wasn't really getting anything that our generation haven't seen online, but my 40-year-old parents fucking loved it. It.
You see, that's what I mean though. That's what I was.
Yeah, that's what you were saying.
That's what I said to you then. And for me, I think I've got it in my notes here. There was something in particular. Give me just a moment. It was something. Yeah, you're talking about his interview style. Mm-hmm. So one of his things is, and this was something that people really digged into, was the fact that he uses silence. He does this thing where he just kind of lets someone dig themselves into a hole. Mm-hmm. And it works for some people. It doesn't for others. Now, for HS Tiki Toki, when he tried it on him, it didn't work.
Yeah, that's what I said. It's just like they can't.
Yeah, but also at the same time, when he did it with Justin Waller, who's also big, and as a matter of fact, he was probably... No, he wasn't the only one, but he had fans that came to him in the middle of filming when it did it to him, he kept digging.
Was he the guy in New York in the documentary?
No, that was Sneeko.
Oh yeah,
that was Sneeko.
Oh, yeah.
Justin Waller's the one with it's a bit of a goatee type of beard.
Yeah. Is he a rage baiter as well? I don't really know much about him.
No, he's
I think that's the difference then.
It is. It is. But for Justin Waller, it's like, you know, he's when he got out of the supercar and he's saying, what did he say to him? To Louis, he said something like, he said, "Oh, this doesn't mean success," or something like that.
Let me be very clear, bro. That car is not success. I do want to say that. That car, fuck that car. I might be an asshole in some areas, or people might not agree with some views I have, but I'm not so foolish to believe that's success.
Well, so let's not make too big a thing
but just on the record.
Oh yeah, it was like, just a used car doesn't mean success.
But one of his main takeaways, which we already knew, but the old audiences wouldn't have, was that, you know, these influencers, they're motivated by attention, clout, fame, monetization. They say outrageous things, rage bait, for the sole purpose of the fame and the money.
Yeah,
they don't really care about.
I think it shouldn't have been the complete main focus of that documentary, because it's like we talk about the manosphere like a kind of pyramid. You've got the people at the bottom who are getting sucked in, and then you all the way to the top where you've got the proper content creators like HS, all the people profiting off of it, Andrew Tate, whatever. And you know, I think, although you did mention that we saw over in America some of the people who were in it and not at the top, I think we were only seeing them, you know, abroad in, was it Marbella?
Yeah.
In America. I think he could have done something with interviewing inside, more lower down the manosphere, with the people who were like us.
Where exactly do you think he should have?
I think take it back to Britain. I mean, he's a British journalist. I think we should have...
Like I said to you before, the manosphere, it's an international thing.
It's
more predominant, I'd say, in America than it is here. And, you know, you might disagree with that, but I mean, the way manosphere and this hyper masculine content, the way it was pushed, especially during the presidential elections, I think that shows the influence it's had in America. I think he was trying to find the root cause, and he was looking at the big players, found a lot of them in America. I think that's what happened.
So do you think, like, we could agree maybe like a part 2 where, because HS is British, Ed Matthews, he was predominantly following HS. So do you think we could have like brought it back and interviewed maybe even mothers who've watched their sons get dragged into the manosphere?
100%. Without a shadow of a doubt. I don't disagree with anything you're saying in that one.
Maybe I'm thinking too much for one episode. Maybe I'm thinking series.
That's how I feel. I feel like you know, it's for you, it's like you want to go into a little bit more depth. But we're journalists, of course we want to go in a little bit more depth.
Yeah, maybe that's literally just because of
and I would, if I would want a part 2 that does that. But for an audience that might not have seen it, or an audience that needs to just like kind of understand in a little bit more detail, you know, what the manosphere is really about, I think that was a good kind of way in.
Yeah, I think that's why it hit so much for the older generation.
Precisely.
They were like, "Oh my gosh, what?
This is what
is this HS guy said?" And I was just like, "I've seen that."
Yeah.
But yeah, and then also people have said, you know, a woman interviewer, like, what would have that been like? And I think a woman. I mean, you saw the bit where they beat up the paedophiles on the street.
Yes, the pred catching.
Yeah, and obviously that's not protecting women and girls in the way that he thinks that is. If a woman journalist was doing this documentary, let's say, how would they have reacted in the same way as Louis did? And also
reacted. Well, that's what I mean. He didn't react, and
he could have.
Let's say, for example, that we did have a female interviewer. Who would you want?
Who would? Oh my god.
Yeah, because you're saying that.
I think Stacey Dooley would have been great.
Really?
I actually do, and that's not just because she's probably one of the most well known, but she does have this real calming connection with people, and I feel
like Louis Theroux kind of showed that as well. He wasn't pushy about anything. That's what I mean when I say his style. I love it. It didn't work here, and he should have maybe done a bit more research. It would have helped him out. But Stacey Dooley, I don't think I don't think there's anything that a female interviewer could have done
What about
that would have changed.
What about the tension between
impact.
Louis Theroux and HS Tiki-Toki's mum? Sorry, I forgot her name.
She seemed like she was on cloud 9.
I
She didn't even really seem like she was all
think
there.
if a mother, Stacey Dooley's a mother, if a mother could speak to the mother, maybe there'd be like a barrier broken. I don't know. I just felt that was very kind of uncomfortable, that entire thing. I don't know. It was just a lot of awkward silences, a lot of like HS just staring at Louis and being like, this is what I literally do for a job. Like, you're not going to chat me into a hole. I don't care. I don't care if you ruin my reputation. I don't care. So yeah, that's all my thoughts, I think.
I get it.
Part two.
We should definitely have a part 2 to it.
Yeah.
But I think we should talk about what the documentary was trying to show and what it did end up showing. So one of the main questions is, this ideology, the manosphere, does it actually help men emotionally? And it feels like this is a sort of question that's targeted towards me, but I want to know what you think first.
If I think it helps men emotionally, I think it is a maladaptive shame system. I think you can feel very connected when you...
You're gonna have to explain that term.
Oh, yeah. So a maladaptive shame system is kind of... I'll use the analogy of if you are anxious, you would have a drink maybe of alcohol and it would fix the short-term problem but not the long-term problem.
Not all of us.
Not Muslim. But I'm trying to... In this way... kind of the men, they are feeling very secluded from society. They feel like they don't have a role anymore. They're feeling lost and they feel helpless, and that finding those people in the manosphere can help them to feel more seen.
Yeah.
And so that can help, but they're just it's not the root of the problem why they're feeling like this. The root of the problem is our economy is just not
I don't think it's just the economy.
Not just the economy.
I understand what the concept behind what you're saying. Maladaptive shame, what is it called?
System.
The maladaptive shame system. Yeah. It kind of makes me, it's us versus them.
It's very us versus them.
And
100%.
also it gives me the same sort of energy as when I'm thinking about the immigration problem in the UK. The fact that for the general person, they sold the idea that the sole cause of their problem, the root cause of the cost of living crisis, the housing crisis,
they think it's illegal immigrants or
asylum seekers. And that's what maladaptive shame.
That's a me versus them situation.
What is it called? Maladaptive shame.
Maladaptive shame system.
Maladaptive shame system. You've just had to repeat it twice to me.
It's okay.
I might be losing it today. But yeah, so I mean, the main things that I got from the main like bullet points for me were that Louis suggests influencers might be projecting their own trauma into the world, and I mean, when he does a little bit of a deeper dive into their backgrounds, it makes sense because like I said to you,
what were their backgrounds?
So one of the things he found was, for a lot of them, I've got it again in my notes somewhere. You're gonna have to bear with me for a second. I
mean, wasn't there something with HS's dad?
Yeah, HS's dad wasn't in the picture, so there was a lack of father figures. There was a lot of family trauma, loss of male role models.
No male role models, you see.
So he described it as projecting their trauma onto the world. That's how he describes it in the documentary. I see that.
I see that too.
And the thing is, the way masculinity is framed is, it's framed as being under attack for some reason. And it makes sense now that you mention how the rise of it started from post-1960s. So at the start of when women started fighting for their rights and fighting for equality, it all adds up because men feel like these men, not men in general, but these men feel like that their masculinity is under attack by women and by the mainstream media.
100%.
And a lot of these influencers, as we saw with Sneeko, actually go down conspiratorial hatches. They start spreading wild conspiracy theories, and me and you had this conversation. You asked me a question. I'm going to say what I said first, then let you ask it. It was start blaming on the Jews, anti-Semitism.
It's like, why? Why why is it always an us versus them? I really don't understand why it's always minorities as well.
Yeah. And I said to you, don't ask that question. It's a rabbit hole.
It's a rabbit hole. Maybe we can make one on that.
What exactly would that episode be called? I mean, this episode's the
Down the
Forsaken
rabbit hole.
Manosphere. Down the rabbit hole of what? Anti-Semitism.
The link between. Oh my god, this is gonna be. But genuinely, I remember just being like, what? Literally what? I was so confused.
The thing is, this is what happens when. This is why I hate rabbit holes so much.
Mm-hmm.
It's like once you go down one, you get stuck.
Yeah.
And then everything like, oh, this is real, or this actually makes sense. And it's like there's so many holes in the story, but you just don't see it. I've been down my own. I've also been down this one. It's not it, honestly. But another thing that was worth noting was the contradictions. There were some severe contradictions in what these influencers thought versus what they were what sort of ideas they were perpetuating. For example, traditional relationships. They were simultaneously promoting casual sex, public objectification of women, and status through sexual access. But at the same time, like I said, they're promoting traditional relationships. So they're two things that directly contradict each other. And again, some of the rhetoric from the fans, this was a lot more from the followers, was that men are naturally disposable and that suffering defines masculinity. And this is where I go into...
You are a man.
That deeper conversation with you where I was like, it just sounds like it's an oxymoron. It sounds like it's just completely contradictory in of itself, because you're trying to tell me that this is meant to be some sort of support system for these men who feel like society doesn't value them, that feel like they've been exiled. My poor mic.
Why do men have to suffer though? Why did they say that?
That's what defines masculinity, apparently, according to these guys.
But you are suffering, that's why you're reaching out to find...
Precisely, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. And yeah, I think that's where I asked you the question, does this ideology actually help men emotionally? And the answer probably is no. And one of Louise's conclusions was that it promotes traditional values while simultaneously encouraging flashy, hypersexualized lifestyles. So it's promoting this idea of, to be honest, their idea of traditional and my idea of traditional aren't even the same, because their idea of traditional involved hypergamy, which you looked into a little bit. I mean, did you have anything you wanted to discuss about that? Because the only thing I can remember is when Myron brought his girlfriend onto the podcast when Louis started interviewing her.
Yeah, hypergamy. I can get the definition actually.
Yeah.
But it is a graph that's been basically floating around, and it was in The Rational Male, and The Rational Male was a book that was compiled in 2013 from all the ideas from these forums together, and it kind of made like a what's it called? What word am I thinking of?
For what?
For a book that tells you how to do something.
A manual. That's it. Got it at the same time.
A manual for how a man should, date and go through his masculinity. And in this book, hypergamy was a massive thing. And it's basically the graph. We can probably get it up on the screen, can't we? Like in post.
Yeah,
that's
definitely.
fine. So it's the belief that women always want to date higher status men. And as you can see, these men and women are facing each other the exact same amount in two columns. And the women, it goes from up to lower. Mm-hmm. So the most money would be at the top, the best looks would be at the top.
And where did you say this graph was again?
The graph?
Yeah.
It's just the hypergamy graph from The Rational Male.
Is it a book?
It's from the book. It's an idea that's like wholly posted around. It's basically that from the top to the bottom, the men, and the top to the bottom women, the men will date up and down, and they're more like open with their kind of dating, whereas the women always go to the top. Mm-hmm. Are you going to take a look?
I'm literally just trying to get it on screen. Just give me a second. Hypergamy.
Well, we'll cut back to once you've had a look.
Yeah. Which one was it?
That one.
The one I've got on now?
Yeah. Do you see what I mean? So the women from the bottom, their idea is that the women from the bottom will always go for the men at the top, whereas the men, like, they're more likely to be more evenly placed about women.
Oh my word.
And, you know, there is kind of some truth to it.
Is
because biologically, women in history were always looking for stronger men and, like, physically just be able to protect them.
Yeah.
And also, like, a little bit less
And
historical.
but do you feel like that's not the case now or something?
This is showing that it's all women. It's like it's making us very generic. Obviously, not all women value money, looks, popularity, and confidence.
That's probably what the question that people watching and boys and men in general will be wondering is it something that the majority of women look for? Is it something that women look for? You know, is it? Are we talking about biological
everyone?
factors?
No, the thing is, what I'm saying is, women will look for different. Every woman will look for something different in a partner, and that's not what that graph says. That graph is putting all these women into one category.
Okay, you told me about your partner. When you were looking for your partner, what were you looking for?
Personality.
You think it was just purely personality based?
Well, I liked how he looked as well. So personality, looks. I didn't like. For example, it says here money. I didn't care about money. Popularity. Don't care about popularity. Confidence, I don't care about confidence. But some women will really look for, you know, looks and confidence in a guy, and less that. So it's putting us all in this graph. And there's some truth, and it's half truth, half lie. It's one of those.
Yeah, but you see, this is the thing. I feel like that's what they sell a lot of. It's really like half-truths that they try to sell as full truths.
It's not based on psychology where like X equals Y gives this answer, and then they go out and they do surveys and they do all the testing and they come out with this output. It's more like they've come to a conclusion first and then they're trying to find out why.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know.
So another one, the key takeaways from this was, for me, that the manosphere, not just from this documentary, but this discussion with you, was that the manosphere seems to be a reaction to changing gender norms. So the idea of, you know, there was a time where men were here, and women were probably about
gender norms and the change of economy and
amongst other factors. It's a movement that's fueled by fear, insecurity, like I mentioned to you. It's, you know, men are naturally disposable, men are born with no value, women possess inherent value through beauty and youth, so women just already have it from the get-go, whereas men, they have to fight to get to the top, which, you know, how do you feel about that? Do you think that's true?
What, that women just have it from the get-go?
Women have it from the get-go and men have to just kind of, you know...
Absolutely.
They're
not.
born fighting.
Born fighting.
Yeah.
For women.
No, to get up the ladder.
Well, I think women have their own kind of thing as well. I think women definitely do. I mean, there's femcell, which we've spoken about, which is kind of like the manosphere, but for women. But the difference with women, obviously we have like, you know, be really fit, like have a really pretty face, but women are more likely to open up and speak to their friends and speak and get together than men. Men are much less inclined to because of the stigma around opening up and talking about men's mental health and talking about how they feel. So they're much more likely to go down these rabbit holes than women are. Hence why femcell is not really something anyone's heard of. What's your opinion on that?
Never mind my opinion. Where do you think we go from here? How do we tackle this?
How do we tackle it? I'm glad you asked.
Thanks.
Thanks
for like, you know, just copying what I said. You know, thanks for parroting that. Definitely
I think we need a shared responsibility model, and I'll explain what that is.
Flipping, we're using complicated words today.
I know. I'm sorry. My thing is Jargon Interrupted as well, and I'm literally using jargon anyway.
But isn't the concept of Jargon Interrupted that you make it easy for your audience and you just used 3 big words?
Yeah, sorry. This isn't Jargon Interrupted though, so if you've come here...
You came to the wrong place.
How we fix the problem is a responsibility model. I think everyone lots of people in a way are responsible for the growth of the manosphere. So you've got, you know, the social media companies and their algorithms, you know, their algorithms pushing, they don't see the difference between negative, positive engagement. They push whatever gets a click, like, comment.
Yeah.
So that's why it's getting pushed. No matter how misogynistic, racist, etc. it is, it'll get pushed. And because they're flagging or censorship, you know, systems are so bad, you can see stuff up for ages and then it just gets reposted and reposted and reposted and it doesn't matter.
Do you remember when Charlie Kirk got assassinated?
Oh my God, I saw that on Instagram Reels, which, you know, their censoring is so much worse than TikTok's, but different companies.
Sometimes I'm on TikTok and I'm on Instagram. I'm thinking to myself, these people can't be real.
Yeah.
Not by the videos, it's the comments as well. The comments add on Instagram. It's like it makes TikTok look like sunshine, lollipops, and rainbows. The way Instagram is sometimes.
Yes, that's Meta, isn't it? But ByteDance owns TikTok, and the thing is, these social media companies, they need to understand that this is a serious issue, and they need to when they, with their algorithms, it's like putting petrol onto a fire. It's fueling it, you know, the fire was always there, but it's massively fueling it and affecting younger boys. So they need to really step up and they need to adjust their content, but they're going to only do that if they have pressure from the UK government. And
how do they put pressure on them? More fines?
So the UK government needs to make sure they're paying fines. Yeah, I mean, it's make new laws.
They've been doing fines for a while now.
It's really hard. It's really difficult.
They even
because
these CEOs even sat in front of Congress.
It's so difficult because the transfer pricing issue as well, which is when countries will put their profits in other countries that are lower tax, so they don't have to pay as much tax to us. And that obviously affects, you know, TikTok makes so much money in this country. Their tax documents are undisclosed. You can't see them. Does undisclosed mean you can't see them? Or is disclosed? Undisclosed. You can't see them. So we don't know how much tax TikTok is paying. It's probably not enough. And, you know, if they were paying more tax and we figured out the transfer pricing kind of better, then we could have more money to fund initiatives like men's mental health and, you know, community groups, getting men to open up more. We need more mental health services and funding men's sports as well, and other clubs, you know, activities. I mean, this comes down to the councils as well. They just need more funding, and I think they are responsible. Government, social media, schools should teach it in schools. You know, that means changing the curriculum. Thank you. I'm forgetting all my words.
That's all right. It's been a very long day.
Journalists, do more.
I mean, yeah, it's been a really long day.
And I put social media companies twice.
What, in your notes?
Yeah, I put them twice. I don't.
Aren't you a smarty pants? But yeah, it's been a really long day. I think we had like our first main quote of this episode yesterday. There are bits of that episode that were good. I think we will put those out.
Yeah, it was very raw.
Yeah, and today, we just kind of went with it. Definitely think this was a good start, at least a good way to kick off this series. But yeah, any final thoughts?
I think you go first. I'm thinking.
One of the things is what sort of message do I have for teens and young adults? And for me, don't let groups of people, whether that be someone from the manosphere, whether that be the what was the book you were talking about?
Rational Male.
Yeah, these books and men on the internet, clip farmers. Don't let them decide for you. Don't let them tell you how you should be. Be your own person. We live in a world now where, you know, there was a time where the society set the standards for how you should be, but we live in a world that's much more accepting, much more understanding, and yeah, it still has its quirks, don't get me wrong, plenty of them, but you gain more from being who you are. If you're different, be different. You don't earn to gain anything from trying to fit into these boxes that society, well, not even society is not putting you in these boxes, but these men that you're listening to, They are. And when you're a teen, it's easy for you to get influenced by anything. I know I have been, and I'm still kind of a teen. I've still got how many days on me? I've still got a few days. I'm not 20 yet. So I still am technically
not 20?
a teen. I'm not 20. I'm 19. I turned 20 on the 27th. What?
You're in second year.
Yeah. Why is this a shocker to you?
Well, I'm 20. I'm in first year.
But you took a...
Oh, no, we're the same age. We're the same age, but not everyone in my year is 20.
But yeah, bottom line is, don't let anybody tell you how you should be. Be your own person. If that makes you different, so be it. But be happy within yourself. Don't let people on the internet, don't let people write in self-help books. Please don't let these guys determine for you who you should be as a person, what you need to do to be a better person. And maybe some of the things that they say, you can't take them as advice. I was talking to Edith about that. I think, do you remember that conversation I had with you when I was saying to you, there's some things that you watch, because I had to check all these clips out. I was like, I'm watching some of these videos and I'm thinking to myself, it makes a lot of sense what they're saying. But it's also a matter of, but who's saying it? Like, there's certain clips where Andrew Tate's making statements where he's telling boys to, care about themselves and prioritize themselves. But it's the same guy we've got a clip of, and I'll play the clip and I let the clip do the talking.
You're cheating. It's bang out the machete, boom in her face, and then grip her up by the neck. Like, shut up, bitch! I will pick you up with one hand by your titty. Have you ever seen anyone with a vape?
That felt directly targeted at me.
You see, it's an old clip. Are you doing giggling now? Can we get serious?
Yeah.
You just watched a dude. What's it called? Talk about beating on women.
I mean, that's just horrendous.
Yeah. So it's like, do I really want self-help advice from this guy?
No.
Exactly.
And then my final say, all I've got to say is,
Go on.
you've got to look at which political parties oppose stronger online safety laws, and you've got to look at which leaders of political parties endorse the comments and endorse the people who are at the top of the manosphere to stop the spread of misogyny, because it is bad.
It sounds like a dig at some parties or some officials.
I am completely unbiased.
It seems like a little bit of a dig. The fact that mine was really like, I was talking more about the kids that are watching and the men that are watching, and about being yourself and being happy within yourself. And there'll always be things that you need to change, that you need to work on. That's fine, but don't feel like you have to be the way somebody else tells you to be. Be your own person, man.
Okay, preacher. The argument is weaker regulation could allow harmful online content to spread more easily. So
I agree with you. I agree with you on that one. But that's what I'm saying. Is there something particular that you've seen that's made you feel the need to bring that up?
Can I be political on here?
Of course you can.
Okay, I'm scared.
It's our podcast, and it's the Yap-shap podcast.
Reform UK, I named them, oppose stronger online safety laws. This is not good. And the way the local elections looked, some people may have thought they were going to take over our country. They have taken over our councils. But
I think that's where we'll kind of tell you to call it a day. I don't think we will be making those kind of remarks. But we will be talking a little bit more about the local elections, and in particular, what happened in the local elections, and in particular what's happening in Downing Street and as a direct result of the local elections later on. That's not for today's episode. That is for next week's episode.
So for men, I would say speak, talk to people, don't keep it in, don't let yourself feel isolated, and don't blame women.
Nothing makes you talking to somebody doesn't make you less manly. If you need to talk to any support services,
never. I've never found it like what's it meant to be, the stigma around men crying? Is it like shameful?
Yeah, it's something that girls do and men should just.
Well, it's not. So, heard it from a girl.
Yeah. I think on that note, we can just quickly talk about the next episode because you were already about to jump straight into it.
I know. I could do a back-to-back.
No, not today. Thank you very much. I'm too tired for that one. But yeah, next episode we'll be talking about the rise of the right in the UK. We'll be going into a little bit more depth.
Woo! I'm joking. I know. I'm excited for that episode. That doesn't.
Oh.
That meant I was excited to film.
What was
the
that
episode.
noise though? That didn't sound like a yelp, or that was just like something in the middle.
Ooh! It was like a ooh.
Anyways,
I'm excited to talk about that.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
You see, you seem to be so excited you're about to start talking about it now. So before you do, the next episode we'll be talking about going with the rise of the right in the UK, going into a little bit more depth about what these local elections that have just passed. Today we're filming this on a Tuesday. That was on Thursday, which was about 5 days ago, I think it was. Here's what I found. I didn't ask you, Siri. Yeah, that was about 5 days ago. What do they mean for you? What sort of things would you see with a reform government? Because they did take the most council seats. And the implications of Brexit and the idea that seems to be getting pushed quite a bit at the moment of leaving the European Convention of Human Rights, which Edith is very passionate about. You can briefly say something about that if you wanna. Don't mention reform. The word reform is banned.
I'm gonna leave it for now, but you'll have to come to the next episode to see what I say.
But yeah, this has been the Yap-shap podcast with Ammaar and
Edith.
Let us know what you want to hear about. Let us know about the name as well, because me and Edith have been getting into loads of discussions. Not even just me and Edith. It's apparently, unfortunately, I've had to have this conversation with a few people who don't like the name. I think it's a good name. Edith, how do you feel about it?
It's catchy, but I just still don't know. Well, I know what it means once you translated it, but I didn't.
Should I translate for the audience?
Yeah.
Should I tell them? Should I give myself
please.
a little bit of a... Yeah.
Yeah.
The Yap-shap. Yap comes from the word yapping. Shop comes from the South Asian term gup-shop, which is like, when you talk to someone, you say, what's the gup-shop? What's new? So I thought it was a good little mix, but apparently you don't feel the same way.
What do you say to your friends like Yap-shap?
It's something like... gup-shoppy, something like that. What's the gup-shop? What's new? What's the hot thing?
And Yap is obviously British, isn't it? No.
American as well. American as well. But yeah, if that name isn't for you, if you guys think there are better names, tell us. We can change the name. I quite like it. I really like the flipping logo and it looks gorgeous up there. Okay. But yeah, this is your platform. This isn't mine. This is everybody's platform. So, like, comment, follow. The more love this episode gets and this podcast series gets, the quicker we can push more things out for you guys. But this has been the Yap-shap podcast with yours truly. I've been Ammaar. This has been
Edith.
Are there any...
Who said that twice?
Keep your eyes on what you're watching, please. Keep your screen times as low as mine. At least don't get up to Edith's numbers. And please, for the love of all things holy, don't be up on your phones all night on Snapchat. That's not...
Not up on them.
I'm kidding. Yeah, sleeping. Come on, you can talk to your person when you wake up in the morning. You don't have to do it in the middle of the night. Edith's allowed because Edith's engaged, so it's all right. She's allowed to do that. But you guys, please, not for your talking stages or your little 3-month flings. Please, I'm begging you. But yeah, I told Edith, I asked her if she could do this properly. But lots of love and
peace.
I'm going to try play the outro.
Oh, go on.
Oh, no.
Ah.
I'll get it.
What, do you want me to just dance?
No.
Okay.
So, that was the Yap-shap podcast. I've been Ammaar Hussain. This was... Wait, no, 1 second.
Why are you pointing over there?
I've been Ammaar Hussain. This has been...
Edith Berryman.
For the second time, because I don't know how I'm going to clip this out. This has been the Yap-shap podcast. Lots of love and
peace.
I have to turn it down.